In 1983, the world was living under the constant threat of nuclear war, as the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union had reached one of its most dangerous points. Both sides had enough nuclear weapons to destroy the planet many times over, and all it would take was one mistake, one misunderstanding, or one wrong decision. On the night of September 26, 1983, that mistake almost happened as computers suddenly detected what appeared to be incoming nuclear missiles launched from the United States. Warning systems went into full alert, red lights flashed, and sirens sounded, meaning only one thing: the Soviet Union had to prepare an immediate nuclear response. If the attack was real, there were only minutes to act, and the officer on duty that night, Stanislav Petrov, monitored the system and faced an enormous decision. Everything on the screens told him that an attack was happening, and although trained to trust technology and follow protocol, something did not feel right. He began to think logically, questioning why the United States would launch a nuclear first strike with only a few missiles, as a real attack would involve hundreds. Petrov realized that the system was new and had not been fully tested, suspecting that the alert might be a malfunction rather than a real attack. At that moment, he faced a decision that could change the fate of humanity, weighing the possible consequences of reporting a false alarm versus failing to act on a real threat. If he was wrong and failed to report a real attack, the Soviet Union could be destroyed. But if he reported a false alarm, it could trigger a nuclear war that would kill millions. Petrov made a choice, reporting the alert as a false alarm, knowing that minutes had passed and no nuclear explosions followed. Eventually, it became clear that the warning system had made a critical error, as the satellites had mistaken sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds for missile launches. Stanislav Petrov was right, and one human decision had prevented a global nuclear war. However, instead of being celebrated as a hero, Petrov faced criticism for violating protocol, as the incident was classified, leaving the world unaware of how close it had come to disaster. Petrov quietly continued his life, carrying the weight of that night with him, only for the truth to emerge years later after the Cold War ended. Today, the 1983 nuclear false alarm is considered one of the closest calls in human history, reminding us that technology can fail and systems can be wrong. It serves as a reminder that sometimes the fate of the world depends not on machines, but on human judgment and the ability to think critically in moments of crisis. On that night in 1983, the world did not end. Not because of advanced technology or military power, but because one man chose to think, hesitate, and question what the machines were telling him. What makes this moment even more unsettling is how fragile the situation really was, as the system that failed was considered advanced, yet could not distinguish between sunlight and a missile launch. Human civilization was, quite literally, placed in the hands of a machine that misunderstood what it was seeing, highlighting the vulnerabilities inherent in relying solely on technology. Stanislav Petrov was never meant to be a hero. He was following his instincts and doing something that went against strict military protocol, relying on doubt that may have saved the world. Years later, Petrov explained that he did not feel like a savior. He believed he was simply making the most logical choice under impossible pressure. Still, the weight of that night stayed with him for the rest of his life, revealing a dangerous truth about the Cold War era. Global destruction could be triggered not only by aggression, but by error. It forced both sides to reconsider how much power should ever be placed in automated systems, acknowledging that misinterpretation could lead to catastrophic consequences. Today, as technology plays an even greater role in military decisions, the story of 1983 remains a powerful warning that behind every system, human judgment still matters. Sometimes the survival of the world depends not on perfect systems, but on imperfect humans who choose to think before they act. The legacy of that fateful night serves as a reminder that in the face of technology and protocol, it is the courage to question and reflect that can alter the course of human history. As we reflect on the events of 1983, we must acknowledge the fragility of our security and the vital role that human discernment plays in safeguarding our future. The story of Stanislav Petrov and the false alarm of 1983 underscores the need for vigilance, cooperation, and the continual re-evaluation of how we integrate technology into crucial decisions affecting humanity. Ultimately, the narrative of that night urges us to cultivate a culture where questioning authority and protocol is seen not as dissent, but as a necessary part of responsible leadership. Amidst rapid technological advancements, the lessons from Petrov's night remind us that maintaining humanity's moral compass is essential to ensuring peaceful coexistence